Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Anime Trainer, and today we're going to talk a little bit about a study that just came out, rather an article about a study that just came out by The Guardian. And it's kind of to do with some of the stuff that I've been talking about on Twitter. If you guys have been following me on Twitter at all, I've been having some arguments about obesity with people, and it's kind of frustrating that people don't understand the nature of obesity and the inherent dangers, health risks that it presents. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the article, and then I'll give my thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. But before we get into that, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. We do lots of different content. We're starting to do more content like this because I want to show you guys what the science is currently saying about health and fitness in a more direct way. But we also do anime and fitness content and anime fitness content, so check it out. Thank you guys very much. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the article is entitled "Children of Obese Moms, British people, at Higher Risk of Fatty Liver Disease," says a study. Researchers say that influences in the womb may play a role in increasing the risk of developing the condition. So children of obese mothers have a greater risk of developing fatty liver disease in their 20s, according to researchers who say that policymakers need to do more to tackle promotion of poor quality food and drink. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease can be caused by obesity. If it progresses, it can lead to serious health problems such as cirrhosis and liver cancer. And while high fat levels of fat in the liver are also associated with a greater risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is the leading cause of liver disease in Western countries, while liver disease is the most common cause of death in people between age of 35 and 49 in the United Kingdom. So you can see that there is a problem there. Liver disease in general, that could be, there's a lot of alcoholism that goes on in Great Britain. So that's well, in the UK. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. But it's not just that, because the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is also quite prevalent. According to the NHS, up to a third of people in the UK have early stages of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, meaning they have small amounts of fat in their liver. If the condition is picked up, it can be prevented from getting worse, and damage can even be reversed, which is good news for people who are have that possibility of that condition. Now, the same teams say influences in the womb may play a role in increasing the risk of developing this disease. The researchers, whose results will be presented at the International Liver Congress of 2021, looked at liver scans from 2,961 participants born in England and enrolled in a longitudinal study called the Children of the 90s. For the majority of participants, information was also available on the body mass index for their patients. After taking into account such factors as maternal age, smoking in pregnancy, and social class, the team found that obesity in mothers before pregnancy was associated with just over twice the risk of their children going on to have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease at the age of 24 compared with that of their non-obese mothers, for non-obese mothers. Adding that almost 20% of the offspring of non-obese mothers had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So 20% of the offspring of non-obese mothers. The team also found that increased risk associated with obese fathers, but the increase was smaller than for obese mothers, suggesting that while family environment or father's health may play a role, there appears to be a particular influence occurring in the womb. So this is not just a external environmental thing that happens with people making choices postpartum. This is happening in the womb. What our study is saying is that maternal pre-pregnancy obesity is causing an early life effect to prime the offspring's livers to develop fatty liver, making them vulnerable to environmental hits such as hypercaloric deficit or a Western diet, which will increase the risk of developing more advanced liver disease. So hypercaloric diet, meaning lots of calories. It's just a fancy way of saying people eat a lot. We are not blaming moms for this. I understand. Instead, he noted that the research highlighted that the impact of the obesogenic environment can be passed down through the generations, in addition to already known heritable genetic risk factors for the disease. The team note that the work builds on research in Australia and found a similar link when looking at offspring of 17 years of age. So, all right, let me stop here for a second. So I get that they're saying they're not blaming mothers for this. The environment in and of itself, with the way that people are that governments and societies present health and fitness, and eating properly, it's not necessarily the best mix of things, and sometimes people are just in poor situations. But the fact of the matter is that being obese increases the risk of this disease specifically by 2 times. That's 100% increase in risk of the disease for your offspring, which is not a small increase. So that's just going to show that in terms of people that say healthy at any size, you don't, just because someone's fat doesn't mean that they're unhealthy. The science doesn't point in that direction, not even for your offspring. The science points in the direction that an increase in excess adipose tissue, excess fat, increases the risk of various types of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, increases inflammation in the joints, increases the risk of numerous types of metabolic issues. There's a lot going on here, and it has to do specifically with excess fat. We'll talk a little bit more about that toward the end. There's some kind of ranty things that I want to get into, but let's finish this article. So there's no easy solution to this. So there are actions to be taken, such as reducing special offers on unhealthy foods to make it easier for people to make healthier choices. Because if something's easy to do and it's cheap, you're probably going to go with that option, even if it's unhealthy. Chris Brine, a professor of endocrinology and metabolism at the University of Southampton, who's not involved with the work, said the results chimed in with other research, including mice. One possible explanation was that the cell's powerhouses, known as mitochondria, everybody should know that, mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, might be involved since they are only inherited from the mother. I think that's probably a pretty solid reasoning point. However, he cautioned that further work was needed to fully rule out shared parental environmental factors that may be behind the apparent link. So they're not coming out and saying what is the biological or chemical mechanism that is causing this issue. It's more along the lines of, here is the correlation that we're looking at. There definitely is one, but we don't know what is causing it per se. And there's going to be some people that are going to be like, oh, well, then you can't say that obesity is causing that. Well, I mean, there's more studies that would need to be done to pin that down. But the fact of the matter is that you can look at numerous studies and show that if someone is obese, they're going to be at a greater risk for numerous diseases. So to say, oh, it doesn't cause that's kind of being disingenuous. At the moment, the majority of patients with this serious disease are not picked up until the late stage, when the liver is so severely damaged it is too late for effective intervention. Any research such as this that sheds light on the causes and can potentially improve early detection in the future is important. Okay, so it's super important that they get that stuff early because it can be reduced. Unfortunately, it seems like they're having a hard time getting those people diagnosed early. So it's not possible, it seems, to reverse the issue past that point. Okay, so something that I'm going to rant about here for just a moment is that when people say healthy at any size, they don't know what they're talking about, because when we look at, like I said, all of the studies that point to the risk factors for numerous diseases, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, etc., all of that, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, all that stuff being increased with an increase in excess body fat, those are things that carry on. They are objective facts. You can look at it and say there's a severe correlation here. But at that point, people are going to say, well, you just hate fat people. You don't say this stuff to thin people who eat poorly or who are not in shape. There's plenty of fat people who work out and can outwork thin people. And that's not really the issue here, because if somebody's thin and out of shape and doesn't take care of themselves, they're going to have their own health issues. That's not in any way related to someone who is obese at all, because someone who is obese and takes care of themselves in terms of working out and whatnot, keeping their strength conditioning up, that's fantastic. You're helping to mitigate the risks involved in being obese, and you're probably making your quality of life better. But that doesn't eliminate any of the risks associated with carrying that much excess body fat. It just doesn't at all. So it's really not the same thing. You can't point at the people who are thin and go, well, they don't take care of themselves and you're not mad at them. Well, I mean, as a trainer, yes, I am. Take care of yourself. You just hate fat people. And then that's not the case. It's not that people who are talking about obesity are saying, you know, you're bad just because you're fat and I don't like looking at you. We're saying this is objectively, according to the science, not good for you to be carrying this much excess body fat. And you could say healthy at any size all day long, but you are wrong. It is not supported by the evidence that you can be healthy at any size. It just isn't. So I'm going to step off my soapbox for that for just a little bit. I may do a longer deep dive into fat activism and whatnot. And I've been mostly keeping my mouth shut about it for a little while because I don't like being controversial in the sense of I try to stay pretty neutral. I try not to act like I'm browbeating anyone or whatever. But at the same time, I feel like I have lost I have a responsibility as a trainer, as someone who's involved in helping people become healthier, to tell people when they are outside of the guidelines of what would be healthy. And obviously, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I'm not a doctor. But guess what the doctors are saying? The same thing I'm saying. So be quiet. Yeah, so if you like this video and you'd like to see more like it, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions about what we're talking about. Heck, I'm probably going to get somebody in the comments that's going to be really mad at me because it happens anytime that I talk about this stuff. So I'm fully prepared for that, whatever. But yeah, if you like this, share it with some people, get their thoughts on it. And if you are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again. And if you like the video, then maybe we'll do some more kind of things like this, and we'll maybe even work it into some anime content, because that's what we do here mostly. But thank you guys very much for watching. It's been fun. Until next time, I'm the Anime Trainer. Good luck and train hard.